You know what I hate more than marketing? Shady monetization tactics. One of the sneakiest forms of monetization when it comes to modern games is it's premium currencies. If you don't know, many modern games made by all kinds of studios, big and small, mostly big ones, include at least two forms of in-game currency. The first one is the regular money that you can earn by just playing the game. The second one is the premium currency that is purchased with real money. This premium currency, which I will simply call gems because developers give them all kinds of stupid names, is directly tied to your local currency in a fixed amount. If you click the big beautiful shop button that is usually shoved in your face, you can see the conversion rate between real money and gems. The basic standard is $1 to somewhere between 80 to 100 super shiny gems. On average, at least. Sometimes they use weirder numbers just to make it more difficult. I've dipped my toes into a lot of games that use gems in some form or another. And it's the same no matter which game or service you look at. Premium currencies exist to hide the real monetary value the developer gives things in the game. It's a subtle psychological trick that only works because of how we understand and give context to numbers. If you look at a bag of chips, you can see the price of it and understand how much it costs you directly. Where I am, a bag of chips can cost like, $2.50. That's being kind. So with my wage, that's like, 15 minutes of my time, give or take. Even if you don't do that conversion, you probably have an instinctive feeling of whether or not the bag of chips is worth your money. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Premium currencies add an extra step into this in order to confuse your brain. Imagine that instead of $2.50, those chips cost 200 gems. Aside from how dumb that is, I would have to do an extra calculation in my head to keep track of what I'm spending. I have to look at the price, convert it from gems to my native currency, which is dollars, then compare that dollar amount to the money I have in my account and what I'm willing to spend. That's like adding another dimension to thinking about money, which can be really difficult to keep up. The end result is that I eventually lose track of how much 200 gems really costs me. It stops triggering my instinctive feeling regarding how much something is worth. Now let's make it more accurate to reality. Let's use Genshin Impact again, because I played it extensively and I must really love just dunking on it. I don't know. In Genshin, gems are used to unlock characters and weapons through gambling. You can easily spend at least 16,000 gems to unlock a character, sometimes more if you're unlucky. If you give the company the benefit of the doubt and use their best standard conversion rate, that's 80 gems per $1. So, if you get a little unlucky, you could spend $200 worth of gems on a single character for one game. That's like 2 or 3 weeks of groceries where I live. That's 10 fancy burgers from the burger place nearby. I mean, that's like a good chunk of the average monthly wage, like 10 to 20% of it. I know, you might be thinking that it's okay because you can usually get the gems just by playing the game, which would be a fair point. However, this only makes things worse, because giving players the gems for free devalues the gems and makes them feel like not that big of a deal. It dilutes your understanding of the fact that gems cost real money, because if you can get them for free, then it's not so bad if you can also buy them. It obfuscates the conversion from real money to gems, and it throws off the internal sense of what things are worth. Because then you have two conflicting ideas. You have gems cost this much at this rate, and you have, well, gems are free. And when they both exist at the same time, it's really hard to tell. Hard to tell how much something is worth just by looking at it. It also creates a hook where you're thinking about how you only need just a few thousand more gems when you run out. It's like offering a free sample of dopamine to facilitate addiction. Premium currencies are a big deal because they're still tied directly to real money and they're still used to trick you into spending more than you might normally. Giving out premium currency for free doesn't help anything. These in-game currencies are completely worthless in every sense. If you had access to the server database, you could input probably a single command and give yourself as many gems as you want at no cost. The value of these gems is completely fake and made up, and not even in the edgy money isn't real way. I mean, these premium currencies are actually fake and useless. They serve no purpose outside of the game, and they don't change the gaming experience in any positive way. It is basically the digital version of company script. Very brief rundown here. Script was a system where companies like 100 years ago would pay employees in currency issued by the company themselves. This currency was controlled by the company, exclusive to that company's stores, and could be valued at whatever the company wanted. Extremely easy to abuse and often highly unethical. Premium currencies in games are the same thing. Everything about gems is controlled by the game. Any claims about certain offers being worth more is nonsense because the developers control every aspect of it, and they can add or remove as many gems as they want at no cost. It doesn't matter if it's double gem day or maybe double gem special event, 2 times 0 is still 0. I don't know if I can stress it enough, but there is no such thing as a good premium currency. The entire framework is predatory by design and exists solely to increase profit for games. Bigger profits aren't a bad thing on their own, but they shouldn't be accomplished by tricking people out of their money. Fixing it would be very easy, but it would also destroy the illusion that makes the trick work. Let's say that instead of 1600 gems, you do a 10 pull in Genshin, which is just 10 rolls of the game's slot machine. You price it accurately. Replace the gem price tag and slap $20 on that button, and I imagine you'd have a very sharp decline in profit. The psychological trick would be gone, and all that's left would be the reality of how much money these games are really trying to squeeze out of us.